Welcome! In this module, we'll be looking at the Court of Justice of the European Union. This is the institution that serves as the highest legal authority for the entire EU.
Here's what we're going to cover. We'll begin with our objective for this session. Then we'll define the court and its mission, look at its main functions, and see how it's composed. After that, we'll explore its unique multilingual nature, and we'll finish with a summary of the key points.
So, let's start with our introduction and the learning objective.
Our goal here is to provide a clear understanding of the mission, the main functions, and the structure of the Court of Justice of the European Union.
Okay, let's move on to the second section, where we'll define the court and its fundamental purpose.
So, what is the Court of Justice of the European Union, often abbreviated as the CJEU? Well, it's the judicial branch of the European Union. Its most important job is to make sure that EU law is applied and interpreted the same way across all member states. The institution is located in Luxembourg.
And this mission isn't something new. In fact, it's remained consistent ever since the court was first set up back in 1952. The treaties themselves state the mission very clearly. It is, quote, to ensure that the law is observed in the interpretation and application of the treaties. Put simply, its role is to be the ultimate guardian of EU law. That brings us to our next section. How exactly does the court fulfill its mission? Let's take a look at its primary functions. The court's work really boils down to three core functions. First, it reviews the legality of acts from other EU institutions. Second, it makes sure that member states are meeting their legal obligations. And third, it interprets EU law when there are questions about its meaning. Let's look at that first function. The court has the power to review the legality of acts passed by the institutions of the European Union. This means it checks whether those acts are in line with the EU treaties, acting as a form of judicial review. The second key function is to ensure compliance. The court makes sure that member states are actually following through on the obligations they agreed to under the treaties. And the third function is interpretation. National courts within the member states can ask the CJEU for clarification on how to interpret a point of EU law. This process, known as a preliminary ruling, is crucial for ensuring that the law is applied uniformly everywhere.
Now that we know what the court does, let's see who does the work. This section covers the composition of the institution.
The CJEU as an institution is actually made up of two distinct courts. You have the Court of Justice itself, and you also have the General Court, which was established in 1988 to help manage the court's increasing workload. It's worth noting that for a time, there was a third court called the Civil Service Tribunal. It operated from 2004 until 2016, when its responsibilities were transferred over to the General Court as part of a structural reform.
Next, we'll discuss a truly unique aspect of the court's operation, the principle of multilingualism.
So why is the CJEU a multilingual institution? It has to be. Each member state not only has its own official language, but also its own specific legal system. Multilingualism is essential for the court to function properly.
And its approach to language is quite remarkable. In fact, there is no other court in the world with a similar system. Any of the official languages of the European Union can be designated as the language of a case.
There are two fundamental reasons for this. First, it allows the court to communicate directly with the parties involved in a case in the language of the proceedings, and second, it ensures that the court's rulings can be shared and understood in all of the member states.
All right, let's wrap up with a summary of the key points we've covered. So, to recap, the Court of Justice of the European Union's core mission is to ensure the law is observed. It achieves this through its three main functions: reviewing the legality of EU acts, ensuring member state compliance, and interpreting EU law. The institution is composed of two courts, the Court of Justice and the General Court. And finally, it operates under the essential principle of multilingualism, which is unique in the world. This module is part of a structured educational series on the European Union. Additional modules are available for viewing in the playlist.